Hey Judy, understand you just hit the big 6-0. I've got you by about 3.5 years. So welcome to the 60s. I'm trying to make this video, so if it's not good, just please forgive me. I wanted to not only wish you a happy birthday, but also just spend a little time reminiscing about some of our early exploits. After all, there's not too many nephews who's actually older than the aunt. I think the first thing that I'd like to say is that we both love two of the most special men that have ever lived, and that would be your daddy and my daddy. My daddy was your brother. Your daddy was my grandfather. They loved us. They were great men. They were the kind of people who remind us what family is all about. We always believed that you were Granddaddy's second chance when it came to dealing with small children. Frankly, since I now have a passel of grandchildren, I have a hard time even imagining what it must have been like to be the age that he was and have a child as young as you are running around and being irritating. At least that's what my grandchildren tend to do a whole lot of the time, is they run around and are irritating. A couple of things that I'm sure you will recall. The first one is the obligatory line up with your Easter basket and get a picture made. One of the funniest ones I've ever seen is we are lined up somewhere and they're taking our picture, and of course there's me and there's Ricky and there's John and there's you and there's Susan, and everybody is looking into the other person's Easter basket to see what they got in their Easter basket, because evidently what they got in their own basket wasn't quite good enough. It's sort of like the forerunner of Deal or No Deal. But we remember that. All kinds of photo ops that we were forced to go into. I remember also spending, I believe it was around the Christmas time, that we went to Norfolk when you were living with Dot and Bobby and Ricky and Susan and Sandra. We went down there, I think it was around Christmas time, to celebrate Christmas with you folks, or at least to visit some during the holiday season. And that was always real special to me, that we could all be together. You know, you and I grew up more like cousins or brother and sister than we grew up like aunt and uncle, or aunt and nephew. I guess there was no uncle. Anyway, another thing that I remember is your voice as a child. You were sort of the prototype, the female version of Urkel. I don't know if you remember that, but you had a nasality in your speech that was unbelievable. We used to just like to hear you talk, just to listen to the way you said things. You remember the swing set that was set up out there on one of the second plateau in Granny's yard, which of course was your mama's yard, and we used to swing in that, and then we would let go and see how far down to the third tier we could sail, hoping that in the process we didn't end up breaking an arm, a leg, or a neck. And as far as I know, we never did. That was kind of amazing. I remember when Granny was sick, and Granddaddy had asked Mom to come up there and to bring John and me, and we were going to spend pretty much all the summer up there so that Mom could take care of course, her two little naughty-headed boys, and then you, her frizzy-headed sister-in-law, to for pretty much the whole summer while Granny was having some health issues. Um, I've always been amazed that she fared as well as she did, having a child as late in life as she did. Um, but she loved you so much. Uh, I knew with Granny I was loved because she always made the yellow cake with chocolate icing for me. And she must have loved you the same way because she always made, I believe it was an apple cake for you. But there it was, and nobody was allowed to touch it. I remember one time we were up there visiting, and we were adults, and you were living in Maryland. And we came by the house, and she had made that cake for you. And she flat told us that no one could touch that cake or have a slice of that cake until you got there and got the first piece. So when you arrived, we all kind of sat around like vultures waiting for you to say that you wanted a piece of your cake so that we could all get a little piece of it as well. But that was the kind of person that Granny was. She really made each one of us feel special. Another thing that I know, and you don't know this, I don't think, when Sandra and I first got married, of course, like most young married couples, it was not really financially easy for us. And about every month, Granny would send an envelope. And in that envelope, there would be one of these little dime banks that you could get at the savings and loan or the regular bank. And she had filled it with dimes, and she sent it to us. Every now and then she would send us a little bit of folding money just to help us. I don't know if there are very many grandsons who ever spent their honeymoon at their grandmother's house, but that's one of the most special things that I ever did in my life. When Sandra and I got married, we went up there and spent our honeymoon at Granny's. We come from a long stock of people who are loving and who are caring. And Judy, you have certainly continued that tradition. I look at the way that you interact with your girls. I look at the way that you interact with your grandchildren and with Tom. And I know that the love that was shown to you as you grew up is alive and well with you today. Happy birthday, and may God continue to bless you.